So it's Monday and I'm having the Mondayest Monday of all. Can't get my life together. It was a long weekend and I feel like I just cannot be a person today. I'm literally binge eating chocolate and trying to catch up on anything that I missed in the Summer Wells case. Well, the key points that I feel like I missed and I'm now catching up on is that Kathy, the friend of Candace, came forward and she basically tried to debunk a lot of things that have been said. I found her very credible in the fact that I believe she believes what she's saying. Not to say that what she's putting out there is factual, but I believe in her heart and in her mind what she is saying is true. I did find her to be very truthful and very, compassionate towards Candace and very much in the mindset that Candace is innocent. She talked a little bit about the money, and that's kind of relevant to me because if you remember, I made that video where I was talking about the comment Candace made regarding money, and then some people put in my comments that I hadn't heard the entire video where I extracted that information, and it came down to a feud between her and Benny regarding monies that were donated in Candace's name. Now, Benny has said or has allegedly showed receipts, which is the YouTube word for proof, that he handed over all the money to Candace that was meant for her. And Kathy now showed her receipts that he didn't, and that these donations never made it to Candace, or some of them did, but not all of them did, and that the reason that they weren't given to her was that Benny got very upset that she was talking to Ernie, and we talked a little bit, like you're literally sitting here with me, that the falling out between Benny and Candace happened as a result of her developing a friendship with Ernie. And we talked about that before. That seemed to be the downfall of the Benny and Candace relationship. And I don't mean inappropriate relationship. Not that it would be inappropriate. I mean, they're both adults. But you know what I mean. Relationship as in friendship. So there was that. A lot of people speculated that Candace was in rehab. Looks like she, at least for a great portion of time, was staying with her friend Kathy because she was scared to stay at the Ben Hill Road home due to people harassing her. And, Kathy's not too happy either because she said that she's been harassed by YouTubers and that some have even put her child's picture out there. And, she was very upset about that. And she seems kind of no nonsense. Like, if you put her kid out there, she's coming after you. Legally. I don't mean she's like going to be knocking at your door. I don't know, she might. But I say leave her alone. I don't think she's messing around. She does not want her home bothered. She does not want her child bothered. That's it. So that's the Kathy thing. The timeline is back in the forefront of the story. A lot of people are talking about the timeline again. And that came as apparently a result of somebody who is close or former employee of law enforcement saying that they were given direct information from law enforcement that there's a 4-hour window that is missing. 4 hours of time unaccounted for. And that does not surprise me in the least. I don't think it surprises anybody. Now, that's just allegedly, I don't know that this person was given this information, but I wouldn't be surprised that there's a 4-hour window. I think we have long suspected that there was a missing period of time. If Hunter was indeed dropped off early in the afternoon and that call to 911 did not come in until the early evening, then, we have a chunk of time that needs to be filled in. I think that fits with an accident, which is still my go-to. I'm not ruling anything else out. Lord knows that I talk about all different possibilities, but I still keep getting pulled in that direction. And if that really did happen, if there was an accident, then, that period of time would be explainable, because there'd be a lot of panic, there'd be a lot of commotion, there'd be a lot to take care of in that period of time. Now, the other thing is Jody Sue is back in the forefront of things. People are now really talking about her again, and that comes and goes, the Jody Sue thing and the popularity of people talking about her and her son. Very, very, very early on, there was a rumor that her son had allegedly hit Summer with his car when she was out and about wandering around, and that it was covered up. I never really thought too much about that as a possibility. I think when Jose kind of started talking about how Summer was a wanderer and she was the type to, walk even as far down as on the road. And then Don Sherfy, he also talked about seeing her, wandering around even down as far as the road. That I did give it pause for a minute. I did think about it for a second. And I remembered that rumor and I thought, geez, could something like that have happened? But I don't know why that would be covered up. I mean, God forbid, knock on wood, if I hit a child with my car, I wouldn't feel the need to cover it up. So I kind of dismissed that. If something like that really did happen, I could see Jody Sue covering up his cover up, if that makes sense. If he panicked and covered it up, I could see her covering for his cover up. I think as mothers, we all think that we would do the right thing, but who the hell knows what we would do to protect our child in a moment of craziness like that, And a lie is a crazy thing because the minute that it comes out of your mouth, it is very hard to go backwards, is very hard to undo it. So, and we've talked about that a million times. Here I go with the we again. The snowballing of a lie. So that seems to be a lot of what's going on. So we have the Jody Sue thing. Tell me what you think about that. I just don't know that I don't know. It is strange, I don't know that she's as important as we're making her out to be, but, she said she heard the scream, and then that's been contradicted a million times. Her son has been put out there a couple of times. I don't know why it keeps going back to that. I don't know. Maybe I have to look more into Jody Sue. I have a hard time with her videos, just because her accent or the way that she speaks is kind of hard for me to understand a lot of what she says, but maybe I need to give that, a little bit more attention and see if I think it's anything. The timeline, I believe that there's a missing timeline. I think that it's crucial to find out what was. My battery died, but I'm back. So here's my whole thing, is that a lot of people are getting really upset with different YouTubers putting out, different theories. To that I say this: a lot of true crime YouTube channels are self-proclaimed speculation channels. That's, what they claim to be. So they're going to speculate. And it doesn't seem to me that there's an issue with, talking about every single possible scenario and person that had any contact with Summer Wells or any other victim. Because even though, okay, disclaimer, I think when it goes too far, when they go real life, when they're, knocking on their doors, when they're harassing them, yes, that is unacceptable. But to put theories out there, to ponder them, to consider them, is exactly what should happen in any case. If my child, my youngest, is exactly the same age as Summer Wells, if he were to go missing, I promise you, I want every single person looked at and investigated and picked apart that has ever laid eyes on my child, myself included. I would throw myself at the mercy of law enforcement or anybody else, even if it meant that, my past, things that are embarrassing, things that I don't want brought to light, come out. Because the seriousness of finding a child has to trump, embarrassment, has to trump, trying to come back from rumors, all of these things. I don't care at that point if you are dissecting my husband, my older children, my own mother, God rest her soul, she's passed. Anybody who has ever been around my child needs to be looked at because something happened. Somebody's responsible. Nobody just disappears. I mean, I guess it's not entirely true. A child can wander off, a child can have an accident, a child can find themselves in a disastrous situation, be it falling in a river, getting trapped in, a cave or some crazy situation. That absolutely can happen. But in most cases, somebody knows what happened, be it one person or several people. And until that truth comes to light, until we know exactly what happened, then everybody and anybody who has ever been around that child needs to be a suspect. That's just the way that it is. And I personally wouldn't care, who was upset with me, who, felt like I was betraying them. I wouldn't care. So with that said, I think that we need to not be so sensitive, when we hear different rumors or different theories, sorry, it's my talk. I think Instacart came. People get really upset. Oh, well, this person's innocent. Maybe, but you don't know. How do you know? And who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Send them all an apology when it's all said and done, when it's all over, as long as that child is found. So that's kind of just where I am with things over the weekend, whatever I missed. The Jody Sue thing, I guess I'm going to look at a little bit more. Kathy, I think she truly cares for Candace. I think that she truly believes in Candace's innocence. Then, of course, is the timeline. And that, I think, is something we all kind of suspected anyway. If this turns out that this was truly an abduction, Jody Sue's son or anybody else, I will be shocked. I still have myself down to an accident. I think it is the most logical answer. Of course, the selling of Summer is still on the table, but I just don't feel it. Oh, so speaking of feeling things, listen, okay, I don't claim to be a sensitive. I don't claim to have these, intuitions. I don't claim any of that. I did have a strange thing happen. So I dropped my son off for school, and it's been such a long weekend. I lay down for a minute afterwards, and I was thinking about Summer right before I went to sleep because I was thinking, I have to catch up on these videos and see if I missed anything. And then I fell asleep, and I had the most bizarre dream, not about Summer, but it's just bizarre nonetheless. I don't normally have bad dreams. So I had this dream that I was at a park with my youngest son, who's the same age as Summer. And we met this teenager, and she was talking to us. And for some really odd reason, which I would never do in real life, I allowed her to go take my son for a walk. And she didn't come back. So I got the police, and the police came, and somehow they found out where she lived, and we all went to her house. And she was very cold, and, she was just like, I left him at the boat dock. And then I collapsed in my dream, and I was screaming like, oh my God, God help me, blah, blah, blah. And I woke up screaming this, and then realized as I became coherent that I was sitting in my bed or laying in my bed, and my dog was staring at me like, what is wrong with you? Because I woke up screaming, teary-eyed, the whole bit. It was so vivid, it was so lucid, it was so bizarre. Then I started to think, boat dock. In my mind, I keep thinking of Kingsport as being super barren. I've never been there, but I don't think of it as having water, which makes no sense because now that I say that out loud, I'm pretty sure I've seen aerial shots of it having water. But I don't know. Are there boat docks? I know. Now you're gonna think I'm an actual lunatic. I'm sorry, but are there boat docks in Tennessee? Is there any near there? I don't know. Is anybody here from Tennessee? I guess I'm going to have to research it, but I don't know. Now you think I'm a freak. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. It was a little strange. It was a little strange that I was just thinking about her before I went to sleep, and then we had that really bizarre dream. I don't know. Help me connect the dots. Unless I'm just a weirdo, and I just had this insane dream about my youngest son. I mean, I guess as parents, we just worry about our kids all the time, even when they're perfectly safe in school and we're sleeping. I almost called the school. That's how real this dream was to me. I almost called the school to ask if he was fine, and then I had to talk myself down and say, please don't be a lunatic, okay? I mean, the school probably thinks I'm weird enough as it is, because I think I'm a totally normal person, but like I'm sure that I come off a little strange. So I thought, let's not make that worse by calling the school just randomly to ask if your child is fine, because they'll be like, why wouldn't he be? And if he wasn't, we'd call you. So, all right, well, that's it. I guess I'm gonna research a couple of things today, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye. Happy Monday.